I have been a client with Snoqualmie Valley Shelter Services since December 12th of 2020. I couldn't do another winter out there. That is just too much to do. Been here about a year. Life was really not good. I don't know how else to say that. People assume that we choose homelessness, and sometimes that choice is bestowed on us just based on life circumstances.
I am Jennifer Kirk, and I am the Executive Director of Snoqualmie Valley Shelter Services.
And I'm Trista Dexheimer. I'm the Operations Manager. The history of our organization starts back in 2012 with a conversation on the side of the road between Mark Toner, who was then our sheriff, and a couple of folks from the community just expressing concern about folks who were living outdoors. And 42 days later, we had a shelter open.
When I first came to SVSS, we were at the United Methodist Church. Honestly, I, for the first time, felt safe in probably 8 or 9 years. To come someplace and actually have a bed, and it's in the most sweetest church. We were in the nursery. Pastor Lee, Jennifer, all the donations we got for Christmas, it was a most amazing experience.
I think the beauty of the Resource Center is that it allowed us to provide daytime services when no other services were available. So we were able to run that year-round. It was a very welcoming environment where people could come, and we had an open kitchen at the time. People cooked for themselves, cleaned up after themselves. So the daytime services really gave us an opportunity to do a much deeper dive into assisting people to provide for basic needs and to start having conversations around applying for Social Security, applying for housing opportunities, things like that. And then all of that shifted when COVID hit.
It's been a tough gig from COVID on. There's nowhere to go to the bathroom. The amount of services that have shut down in the outside world, and honest to goodness, there's nowhere to go and sit and just be a human being. At Snoqualmie Valley Services, I'm able to be a human being and have a space where I can let my hair down and I don't have to worry about getting hurt or not having a safe space.
Historically, in our congregate shelter, prior to COVID hitting, we would serve all genders, including children, in one space, and that has shifted. So the focus of our congregate shelter now is on just single adults. And then we prioritize other folks into our motel voucher program. We are low barrier. That's extremely important to us, that we be able to provide services to anybody and everybody that needs our services, regardless of any behavioral health challenges, so long as they're able to live into the values that we have in our shelter. Mm-hmm. And I think our values really speak to kind of who we are. We're very relationship driven in our shelter. Before anything else, we're a life-saving shelter, and we've never forgotten that over all of these years. But we're very focused on building those relationships with people to help people reconnect back to the community that they're living in, and to help our community connect with them wherever they are, whatever their challenge. It's been pretty amazing to see all of that kind of come together.
Yeah, I think the relationships provide a bridge, both directions.
I think when we were in such a state of fear during the height of COVID, it was pretty fantastic to see all of these people, people that we had known, but also new people kind of coming out of the woodwork, to just provide, to find out. We had numerous people that were donating additional finances to our agency in the midst of not even knowing themselves whether they were going to be able to hold on to their jobs, whether any of their family members were going to become sick. So it was pretty inspiring to see everybody kind of come together to just make sure that our extremely vulnerable population out here was served well. The most substantial thing that we did during COVID was that we shifted to 24/7 year-round shelter. In our full 8 years prior to that, we were only that winter shelter and then the daytime resource center for a handful of years prior.
And I think we always knew that going 24/7 would allow us more contact time with folks, but that people would have more energy to work on their situation, not only themselves, but with us. And that's been a really wonderful thing to see. Folks who, maybe didn't think it was worth engaging because they knew the shelter was going to be closing, and that they were just going to be back outside and living in kind of desperate situations again. So not getting their hopes up again, not getting their hopes dashed again, being really protective.
And so now we start to see this very consistent momentum, and people oftentimes remembering the dreams that they had prior to becoming homeless. And for some of our really long-term chronically homeless folks or generationally homeless, they're finding these dreams for the very first time, which is really exciting to see. And they're doing deeper dives with our housing case manager, and they're finding kind of this own responsibility in their life and following through with things because they're surrounded 24 hours a day now with the support systems that they've needed for so long.
My name is Jan Formasano, and I serve on the board of the agency. I got involved about 2 years ago, was asked to join the board, and I have also been working on coordinating meals in my neighborhood for the shelter for about 3 or 4 years. The SVSS staffing team is one of the most amazing group of people that I've ever met. They are so dedicated to our residents in the shelter, and that is their primary concern at all times, is the safety and well-being of those residents. They are patient and kind and loving and so easy to work with. Growth has been really hard this year as the agency has had to react to COVID-19 and all the different parameters and protocols that had to be followed. Our agency had to grow a lot, and every agency has been having growing pains, and so have we. Mostly financial, trying to maintain a program that was designed as just a winter shelter and is now a 24/7, 365-day-a-year shelter. So being on the board actually has really touched me personally and is a personal passion. My brother, a dear family member, was often homeless, and I never felt like I could do much to help him. So it helps me to be able to support and be on the board and help make decisions that impact the lives of other folks that are experiencing homelessness. Makes me feel like I'm not so helpless.